Hello, I'm Haxie, and you're watching Haxie Flies. I am currently a student pilot working on my private pilot's license, and part of the requirements for that is to get some solo time for cross-country flights. That is, flights from one airport to the next, not just turning around and coming back to the same airport. So today I am taking a trip to some brand new airports. These airports are uncontrolled, so I will be making my own calls and coordinating with other traffic in the area myself without the use of ATC or a tower or anything like that.
Archer 0 Lima Lima, cross runway 31 at Alpha.
Cross runway 31 at Alpha, 20 Lima Lima.
Unfortunately, a lot of the footage was lost. I think the GoPro ended up overheating.
Alright, click right. Clear left and forward, turning on to Yankee.
But I will include what I have and skip to the interesting parts.
Okay, so while we're on our way down here, engine out procedures. Once we take the runway and apply power, we're expecting the engine to fail. If anything goes wonky or weird, before the 1,000-foot markers,
right?
we abort the takeoff. I'm expecting 60 knots at the 1,000-foot markers. If not, we abort the takeoff. Otherwise, we rotate if something happens. When something happens after that, we will attempt to land back on the runway if there's runway in front of us. If we've climbed too far, too high, then we're going to look 30 degrees plus or minus the front and look for a suitable landing spot from there.
5 Lima Alpha Tower.
I believe on runway 22 our best option here would be
5 Lima
right.
Alpha Roger, on course.
Let's slow up.
5 Lima Alpha, did you want to talk to departure or did you just want to terminate the 5 miles? Roger, expect that in about 4 miles.
Okay. At 1,000 feet AGL, which we will call out if when the engine fails at that high, we can attempt to turn back to the runway. And here we are, coming up to runway 22. Go ahead and slow down a little bit. Archer 20 Lima Lima, holding short runway 22, ready for departure.
Archer 20 Lima Lima, Springfield Tower, wind calm, runway 22, cleared for takeoff, a right turn on course, no delay on the roll, traffic is an Airbus 220 on a 6 mile final for runway 31.
Clear for takeoff, runway 22, on the roll, roger traffic 20 Lima Lima. Alright, time is matched. Temperatures, pressures, fuel pump. Taking the runway, clear right and clear left. Oh gosh. No. Gotta close the doors. Ah, there we go. Okay. Alright, let's go. Flaps are down, trim is set.
Helicopter Arch 2 landing at the hospital is at runner, altimeter 2999.
Lining up with the runway.
Landing at John Shadow on West Arch 2, thank you.
Line takeoff power. Heels on the floor. Takeoff power is set. Airspeed's alive. Engine gauges look green. 1,000-foot markers 60 and rotating. And we're airborne. Pitching for 76. Little gust there.
Springfield Tower to Airport 10. Airport 10, Springfield Tower, you can proceed on runway 22, hold short of runway 31 on 22. Airport 10, proceeding onto runway 22, holding short of runway 31 on runway 22. YC 248, both that helicopter and Archer traffic mode factor. Thanks, Mike 248.
Okay. We're airborne, everything looks green. There's 500 feet. Right turn on course. 280.
You can contact departure 126.15. See you.
126.15. See ya. 20 Lima Lima. Where's it going? 28. 280, come on, all the way around. There's 280, alright, and over to departure.
Wind 3004.
There's 280, continuing climb. St. Louis departure, Archer 20 Lima Lima, departing Springfield, 1,900 feet, climbing 4,500 feet.
20 Lima Lima, departure radar contact.
Okay. Alright, descent checklist. Get this going. The throttle 2500, airspeed 126, mixture full rich, RP on. And we'll pull the power back so we can get going.
Fire bound south, straight in for 45 at purpose.
Yeah, can't hear anything you just said. Approach checklist, fuel selector, we are 16 and 24.
Number one, we are 2 minutes per
Fuel pump on. Let's go ahead and switch it over to the right tank.
Red Papa November is going to maintain 3,000.
Fuel pump on, mixture set, flaps. Final approach speed, or descent at 76. Final approach speed, 66 knots. A little too close to the clouds. Yep, that's probably far enough out. So I can turn on to base. The gears down. Let's pull the power back out a little bit more. Load up. Flaps 1. Gears on traffic, Archer 20 Lima, Lima, left base, runway 18, full stop, gears on traffic. Okay, we look to be pretty good as far as height goes. Speed is where it needs to be.
Mike, got a cat, 449 Romeo's final, touch and go for 3 coming.
Given how far we are from the runway here, I'm going to delay going to flaps 2 for just a moment. Gradual turn onto final. Yeah, this is fine. Just fine. Bears on traffic, Archer 20 Lima Lima, final, runway 18, full stop, Bears on traffic. Okay, almost there, gonna pull some power out just a little bit, get some descent going. Extended center line, flaps 2. Pushing down to maintain airspeed. Pushed with the wind a little bit, it's okay. Flaps 3. There we go. Yeah, the windsock looks dead. But we still have a little bit of a breeze. Okay, so that was a little rough, but that's alright. Clear sound traffic, Archer 20 Lima Lima, back taxi, runway 18, clear sound traffic. Okay, there's the taxiway off. Is that the taxiway off? Yeah, I think I can make a loop here. I don't want to turn around on the runway. Because I also want to stop for a second. Clear sound traffic, Archer 20 Lima Lima, clear runway 18, clear sound traffic. Yeah, the socket's dead, so there's not really much wind to speak of. So we can go ahead and take off from the same runway. So that's going to point us south. We're going to depart out and exit the pattern at a 45-degree angle to the left, and then we'll circle around and get our next leg going, which will be to 036. Yeah, 036. That, okay. We can switch back to St. Louis departure approach when we get up there, but I also want to look at, we're going to get passed off when we get closer to Peoria. That's 125.8. 125.8. And then they might hand us off to Tower. So let's take a look at that real quick. Oh, I know it's on the sectional, but it's fine. 1240. And then finally, I definitely want the frequency for Mount Holly, free Mike Yankee, which is 122.7. Free Mike Yankee, Mount Holly, 122.7. So there's all my frequencies. And I believe that means we're ready to go. Okay. This seatbelt is the most uncomfortable thing. The shoulder harness, part of it at least. Okay. Checklist. Master switch is on, flight instruments checked. Fuel selector, we're going to keep it on the right side, which is 23.9 gallons, plenty of fuel. Engine gauge we checked, carb heat is off. The mixture is set, primer is locked, seat backs, seat belts, don't forget the doors this time. Trim tab, we're going to pull that back just a little bit there. That should. And double checking controls. Controls are free. Okay. Nobody's here. Nobody's here. Still making the calls though. Clear sound traffic, Archer 20 Lima Lima, taxi runway 18, clear sound traffic. Okay. .2:30. We have another hour and a half to get home. I think, if I did that right. supposed to be on. Off checklist time. We're gonna not mark the time because we're still going. Lights are on. Temperature, pressures, flaps. And departed northward. So, here's some traffic. Archer 20 Lima Lima taking off runway 18, departing to the north for south traffic. I know it's no winds departing 18, but then going to the north. I could have just gone all the way down and taken off the other direction, given that there's no winds, but why complicate things? Oh, that's a bird, not a plane, and I did the door thing again. Okay. Doors closed, secured, double checked, flaps are down. Trim, fuel pump, lights. No traffic, including birds this time, taking the runway. Center line, applying takeoff power, heels on the floor. Takeoff power set, airspeed is alive. Engine gauges are in the green. Thousand foot and 60 rotating. Pitching for 76. Actually pitch for 76. Okay, no runway in front of us. This field looks good. That field doesn't. Continuing to climb. Okay, there's 76. 500 feet, landing lights off. Making the turn off to the left. 45 degrees. Okay, there's power lines there. Otherwise, these fields look good. Okay, there's 45 degrees off the end of the runway. I'll level out and continue our climb up here for a little bit. Thousand foot. Okay. We're safely out of the pattern, so we're going to make a turn, go up north. Alright. So I got handed off to St. Louis approach around Peoria, 125.8. Contacted several times and didn't hear anything. And also diverting to the north to avoid this storm cell. Looks like a little bit of precipitation. Looks really cool from up here. But we're just diverting north a little bit to fly around it. So we're going to keep trying to contact St. Louis approach. St. Louis approach, Archer 20 Lima Lima.
Archer 20 Lima Lima, St. Louis.
St. Louis approach, Archer 20 Lima Lima, 3,000 feet, checking in.
November 0 Lima Lima, thank you. The altimeter 2997.
2997, 20 Lima Lima. Yeah, I guess the rain absorbs radio signals, so they couldn't hear me because the snow was in between us. Good to know. Good to know. approach checklist, fuel selector, we just switched it, seat back seat belts, fuel pump on, mixture set, flaps, we'll get them when they get there, minimum 76.
Number 20 Lima Lima, for 6 miles from Mount Holly, and Squawk VFR, change of 5 is perfect.
Squawk VFR, frequency change approved, here Lima Lima. Okay. So then he just, oh, there we go. So this can go back to guard. Primary radio is on Mount Holly. There's the airport right there. Fuel pump on. Okay. Descent checklist complete. Or in progress.
So this is the point where the GoPro dies, and I don't get to catch my landing here, but as you can see, I made it in nice and safe. So I turned it on again to capture the takeoff, and I get mostly down the roll before the GoPro ends up dying again, so it won't capture everything.
Clear right and clear left. Holly traffic, Archer 20 Lima Lima, taxi to runway 36, Holly traffic. Okay, engine out procedures, the same as they always are. Nothing should be different for this particular airport, so we're going to line up with the runway, apply takeoff power. If anything funky happens, we abort takeoff. Expecting 60 knots at the 1,000-foot markers, and at which point we will rotate. If not, then we abort takeoff. After rotation, if something happens, then we try to put her back down on the runway. This runway is 4,000 feet long, I believe. So, just a little bit shorter than what we're used to. If there's not runway in front of us, we pick a spot, 30 degrees plus or minus. And in this case, we're going to prefer something off to the left. I believe we're built up some urban areas off to the right. At 1,000 feet AGL, we can attempt a turn back to the runway. Okay, looks like the whole short line is actually this direction. Kind of interesting. At least you can see final pretty clearly before taking the runway. Alright. So, takeoff. Mark time, landing lights, temperature pressures. Oil pressures, vacuum. Okay, so we know all that. That's fine. Controls are free still. I don't believe I saw anybody behind us. We have St. Louis approach on standby. Holly traffic is there. Guard is on the second one. So that should be it. Trim. Okay. Trim looks good. Close up the doors this time. One less breathe. Yeah, okay. Closed. Locked. Alright, let's inspect final. Traffic Archer 20 Lima Lima, taking runway 36, taking off to the south, Holly traffic. But taking off runway 36, departing to the south. I think it's better terminology, but it's fine. Alright, so looking around still, don't see anybody. And down this way, oh, I like how the runway kind of looks like a ramp at the end. We need to rotate way before that, but it's still kind of funny. Okay. And we overshot the center line. That's fine. We'll just line ourselves back up. Okay, here we go. Applying takeoff power.
Holly traffic, Aerostar 68980. That's
Good one.
miles. Inbound landing, 18 Holly.
18. Okay.
So an interesting development there as I'm taking off and the GoPro dies. Someone announces that they are going to be landing going the opposite direction that I'm taking off. After I make it up to pattern altitude and turn off, I do actually see the oncoming traffic We get pretty close, but not too close. And then from there, I just contact departure and get flight following to my home airport.
Runway is made. Let's pull the power back slowly here.
In one last ditch attempt to catch some good footage, I turned the GoPro on final on my home airport and able to capture this footage and a pretty good landing. So here I am back at home after a pretty good long flight across country, adding a lot of good hours towards my private pilot's license, and more to come. Well, if you watched it this far, I do appreciate you watching. I'm Haxy, and this is Haxy Flies. See you next time.